Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, President.
Recall of line. So, just wanted to acknowledge that Innisfil is situated on treaty land, which is steeped in rich Indigenous history. The Rotary Club of Innisfil acknowledges that this land is the traditional territories of the First Peoples of Turtle Island. It is shared between the Anishinaabe peoples of Alisway First Nations, Chippewas of Rama First Nation, and Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and we thank them for generations of stewardship. This meeting place is still the home to many Indigenous people, and as settlers, we are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. The Rotary Club of Innisfil acknowledges the forced sacrifices that are the foundation of Canadian society today. We're dedicated to honoring Indigenous history and culture, and committed to moving forward in the spirit of reconciliation and respect with all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit. Can we all rise for the singing of O Canada? O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all of us command. With glowing hearts we sing, rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Okay. The routine.
All right. So with Al not being here, just pass on some news. We have a birthday boy in the meeting today. Jamie, happy birthday, sir.
I feel like you shouldn't actually celebrate until you're an official member.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's my daughter's birthday today as well.
Is it? Well, please wish her happy birthday from all of us.
We're going to Wonderland. Yeah. Whole family.
Is it open?
It is open last week.
So,
yeah, I know the medal's coming for the trust.
So to do Al justice, I will say Leafs are playing game 4 tonight, right? So knocking on wood that something happens, though Jeff and I have already expressed our lack of confidence. However, hey, you never know. You never know. So I'm hoping everybody's had a chance to see their agendas, but note today there is no guest speaker. This is going to be one of the prototype business meetings that we're testing out for a little while and seeing how it works. So instead of having guest speakers every single meeting, we'll have one breakdown per month where we just focus on business. So I would like to pass things over to Debbie to start off.
Did you?
Take it away, Deb.
So I'm gonna stay here. So as incoming president, it's kind of a big responsibility. I didn't realize it until I went to the conference. Yes, and you notice that there's not just your club or your district, but it's like worldwide. And the individuals that come to that and are speakers and just generally there, you realize that the foundation plays a huge part in what we do worldwide, and there's all different kinds of projects, and there's all kinds of money. I'm only for the money, right? So there's lots of money that trickles down to us so that we can do service projects so that we can be known in our community. So Tim and I, after that, I was very pumped. Katie and I came back, we were all pumped. So we had a meeting, actually Tim and I had a meeting. Unfortunately, Tim Dean and Ann did not go to this in person. Tim did it online, right, Tim? Tim did it online. I think Dean and Ann also did it online because of COVID. So being the first in 3 years to attend this in person, I came back with tons and tons of new ideas and things to kind of make our meetings a little bit more fun. I also have gone to all of the other Berry meetings, so the Berry, and you can all go to those meetings too. So the Berry meeting, the Hempenfeld meeting, and the Huronia meeting. Tonight I'm going to Rotary. And we realized too that, sorry guys, but all 5 of us are women this year. So it has been the first time in a very long time that all clubs have female presidents, and our district is also female. So what we're gonna do too is we're gonna do a little bit of a media. We're gonna do some media around that to give awareness to Rotary in Barrie and Innisfil. Once we're all inducted in July, so we're gonna do that. And then we're also, we're just gonna start meetings. I'm gonna go all over the agenda just to hit a couple things. So we're gonna start meeting the presidents every month, starting July. The 4 of us, we have to see if Roback wants to come in on that. And then we are going to be doing some collaborations together. So I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the first thing I wanna do is let you know that we did a SWOT analysis. Katie did a SWOT analysis a couple weeks ago or a month ago or so. Tim and I had a meeting, we looked at it, and so we have looked at it. There's space over there. She always brings her chair. We looked at it and we looked at all of our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Doing that, we kind of analyzed that we need to make some changes because you as a club or us as a club, we kind of don't know what's going on all the time. So one of the changes that we were thinking about is this meeting, making it more of an interactive business meeting. So this meeting is a trial basis for the next 4 months, and it will happen the Wednesday after our board meeting. So that everything is fresh, we bring it to you, we incorporate some fun, and you know what's going on. Because we've noticed that that's one thing that we kind of run out of time with our regular agenda meetings and we don't know what's going on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start first with our strategic plan. So our strategic plan, right here, and you can find all this on Club Runner. Everything I'm talking about is on Club Runner. So it hasn't been updated since 2021, right? 2019 to 21. So that's when I was at our conference, and actually before that, they have a new person called Strategic and Visual, and that's Louise Bergeron. So her and I had a chat on the phone, and then I met her in person, and she sent me some information on strategic planning. So most of you have been in business, you understand what a strategic plan is. We need to update ours, and as part of that, sorry. There it is. So we've done part of it already. We did our SWOT. So we're going to be moving on to the next part. And every section that we do, we would like club input. And that's what this meeting is for, is to start to get input from everybody and not just have it done at board level. So we want to make sure that everybody participates and it's engaging. You know, that the strategic plan is a living and moving document. And we want to find new challenges. We want to invigorate all the members, attract new members, and then move ahead. So I can send this out, or we can just have a chat about it offline kind of thing, if you are more interested in the strategic plan. We're not going to do a committee, we're going to do it as a group. So each month, we're going to take a part of that and we're going to break it down, and then everybody has a say in the strategic plan. The next part is our goals. So, well, you can just kind of go through that. Our goals. So in the strategic plan, each chair has goals that they have to set. And then there's also another part is Juanita Hodgson is our new district governor. She's coming in. There's some new, I don't know, not laws or anything, but new information that now she wants to keep track of. And Club Runner is something that she would like for everybody to be on. So we're also gonna do a profile update, so everybody will have to bring their computer one day, and Janet's gonna take us through well, it'll be on the interactive meeting, you're gonna bring your thing and we're all gonna do it together. So everybody's gonna bring a computer or laptop, tablet, whatever, and we're gonna all update our profiles and all of our information. So anybody who has been working with me on any of our projects, if you go into your profile right now, you'll see that there are hours. You have hours for doing anything with me. So I've been updating the hours for you. Otherwise, you have to go in and do some updating. Some people have access, because you have different levels of access to Club Runner. And if you don't have access to it, that means you can't update that information. But I went on to what we call Rotary Central. And anybody can go on to that. Just type in Rotary Central. And then it tells you all of our goals. So our goals haven't been updated since 21-22. And in the goal center, it has all our different goals that we have to reach. So as a incoming president, I have to give us some goals and what we want to reach in those goals. So some of them is like our annual fund contributions for foundations, the Polio Plus funds, and then we have if we're going to do RILA participation, how many people are coming into RILA, and then for all of our public image, there's like online presence, social activities, websites, media stories, and there's numbers attached to each one of those that we should be hitting or close to. I'll give you an idea, since 21, updates on website and social media said we wanted to reach 35 posts. And in Goal Center right now it has 0. So we have to make sure that each one of the chairs is actually updating that for them. For membership, there's club membership, service participation, new member sponsors, district conference attendance. So we need to update all of that. And this is, yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna mention it or not, but just so you know, if the goals are not put into there, we actually can be stopped from national grants,
Yes.
especially international grants. So they have to be put in there. We got by this, like Juanita doesn't know how our club actually got a couple grants. She could have said that, you know.
Yeah.
Oops. Thank you for the help.
Yes. So that's another reason is there is money available, but we need to actually do our part and update it. So that's something that's kind of fallen to the wayside. So we need to update our goals. The next thing is community service. So community service.
Can I ask?
Go ahead.
A question before we go into community service? And I apologize. In terms of strategic planning, but I think it's been mentioned at the club level, our bylaws are gonna have to be updated and redone in order to be ONCA compliant. Are we looking at developing a committee for that work? Because it's gonna be pretty labor intensive versus
For ONCA?
or redoing the bylaws to be compliant with ONCA.
Yeah, that'll have to be a committee that you chair.
How is it?
Geez, there's a lot of volunteering going on.
There's a lot of people that aren't here, we can volunteer them.
Yes, our bylaws are a little dated also. Tim and I have been reviewing our bylaws, and because I've also been going to other clubs and was at the conference, our bylaws kind of keep our club on track. So our bylaws are a little behind the times compared to what we're doing now. I know I think it's when we first chartered, I don't even.
They were part of them with the first charter, and then we updated them in 2015 because of the registration of our not-for-profit.
Yeah.
And by the way, Mike Potter Barrick sent me an email before COVID and said, "Do you want to come pick up your book? Because he has it, so I have to go get it from his office.
Yeah,
It's sitting there.
corporation.
So if we want to make any different modifications to it, we should probably treat the book up, make changes and send it back to him.
Yes, So that's part of ANCA, and yes, we will develop a committee for that.
Committee's great.
ANCA is something, what does it stand for again?
Ontario Not-for-Profit Corporations Act. It's a new legislation that's passed. All not-for-profits and charities have to be in compliance with it by October 24th of next year. If you're not, October 18th of 2024. If you're not compliant, basically all of the bylaws get, like, they're gonna be assigned to you. And so if you don't agree with those bylaws, then too bad, you didn't update your own. And some of them they're all pretty reasonable, but there's one, for example, that was given at PETS, and it's like, non-members can be a director of your group, which is not something that we would want. We would not want a non-Rotarian to be at our board. So we do need to look at that. There are tools that can help us in doing that work, but probably a small committee would be great to do that process. So that was just.
And there's also, the district has hired somebody to help us with this.
Mhm.
We're not alone on this. They're going to actually, have a group session probably with the Berry, clubs, and ourselves. And that will take us through the process, and then we'll formally go through those, new bylaws and.
ANCA's really passionate about that, having a non-member as part of your board. Worldwide, every not-for-profit are pushing it based on overseas, but they want whoever you service to be part of the board. So if you're CMHA, they want a mental health patient to be on the board, so that's unfortunately, they apply to us really.
No, and that,
They're really pushing it.
the merit behind it makes sense, but I think to blanket for all types of organizations doesn't work for us.
Yeah.
But anyway, so please think, if you really love governance work, and you want to be on a bylaw committee, or if you were a lawyer.
We just updated ours in Rotary Act, and we used somebody from the district. Maybe, we did it like a year ago.
Yes.
I know Rotary Act and Rotary bylaws would be different, I can send them to you if you wanna like take one.
Okay.
They may be different.
I don't wanna be on that committee, but
I would be on that committee.
Okay.
I've written many of those things.
So, in a couple more minutes, I can talk about some goals. One of the things too is, this year, one of my own goals, and it also is part of the club, is to get a citation, from district, an award, a citation award. The Rotary Citation is an award that recognizes the hard work clubs do throughout the year. Taking action toward achieving the citation goals helps clubs engage their members, stay relevant to their communities, and run more efficiently. A welcoming and engaging club also reflects the values of Rotary. And when the club works to achieve these goals, they also contribute to the overall health and culture of Rotary for generations to come. So this is one of the things that I would like to do as a goal for the club. So it's very, it's got a lot of parts to it. It's like a two and a half page part. So that's another thing we'll be working on, is trying to hit all of these. Some of them is like club membership, is how many total members does your club want by at the end of a Rotary year. Leadership development, service projects, social activities, major gifts, and annual fund. So we're gonna try and hit those as part of that, and then we can submit it and it can be known.
We used to get them every year.
Yeah.
We got the
Always.
residents, we got the residents one almost every year for about 5 or 6 years, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of work though, tracking everything
Well,
that we
that's
did,
it.
trying to get it. We were so busy doing the flipping work, trying to do the friggin' paperwork was the nightmare.
Marlene was my secretary during my presidency, and we did have the president and Susie, you know, so we did have the president and the district one.
Yeah.
So
I
citation.
think you need to have that. Where are they?
Don't ask me anything.
They're probably in storage.
Actually,
Eleanor, do you have any discussion? Did you ever get any awards?
In your,
Oh, me?
you know, in the binders you used to keep with all of our news reports and things like that?
Well, that's what I'm just saying, I have a bag at home. We didn't know where to put a lot of this stuff,
Yeah.
and I'll go through it, or I'll bring it in.
That'd be great.
That's great.
Yeah, that's
So we can show everybody what they look like, so,
Well, there's stuff in the storage unit too,
yeah.
so, but I don't know what all it is, it's all kinds of different things.
So I'm gonna go off topic for 1 second, is since we're talking about all the citations and awards, if anybody comes across a tall, like 2x2 glass case that we can put in the library to show off all of our awards to the
Would
public.
they let us do that here?
I think they would.
They wouldn't,
Yeah.
because we have a lot of plaques and stuff, and they wouldn't let us put up anything.
I think if we put it in a glass case in one spot, that it can be easily moved if we need to.
We had talked about putting it up beside the donors, tree, again, the one in CA.
Oh,
Town.
they're there too.
Just along the bottom.
So that's what we're looking for. I've been looking at the restore every day for a tall glass case, four-sided with a lock on it.
Well, let's find out if they'll let us put something like that first, and you can always have names.
Yeah.
If that's the case, I know so.
So we're gonna move on to the orange sticky that you have in front of you. Everybody have a pen?
Yes.
Yes, if not, I have a very cool pen here. So, one of the things that we need to talk about is community service. So if I'm going to, or we are going to apply for a grant, I need your help in figuring out where that money should be used. So, Paul and I did a brainstorm the other night, and we came up with a couple of ideas, and I need ideas from all of you, so I want you to write them down. So some of them are community living so simple, we'd have to connect to see who we could do something for there. The drug abuse resistance education, senior citizens assistance, medical devices. So these are the things, if you have an idea, just keep writing them down. Maybe putting a splash pad or a gazebo, I know there's a splash pad here, in the new park design, doing a Rotary garden in the new park design, putting flags and plaques on the lamp posts. If you notice downtown Barrie along South Shore, there's plaques, kind of like outdoor plaques on all the posts, outside of South Shore Center, on both sides of the road on the lights. So that's so that they know that Rotary meets there. A healing garden, doing scholarships, maybe do small projects within our own meeting times is one of them that I saw was a birthday in a bag for kids. So we could do that in our meeting time and then we donate them to the food bank. So, yeah.
Just a suggestion. So when I used to be involved with one of the committees ages ago, there was, what was that thing called? The community. We always think we know what's best for the community. We come from a different place. Needs assessment, that's it. So we used to do needs assessments at some of the events that we were at, and we'd ask people what they felt their community needed, because we go out and do stuff and then find out later that money could have gone better at something that was more needed, you know what I mean?
I think this
Because we focus
has
what we
more
were.
to the library to community needs
Did
assessment.
they? Yeah, so see something like that. Because we were doing some stuff with the Lions and stuff like that, because they, Lions and Rotary used to have a unique connection many years ago.
Yeah,
They did, yeah, they did needs assessments together to do overseas work and stuff like that. That's where I actually got it from.
So if there's something that, please write it down. The other thing too is, once we raise this money, and if it doesn't go to this specifically, and we raise alternate money, so this would be, so the way that some of the clubs have it is that there's like service projects and then there's fundraising. So the fundraising money gets designated to certain areas. So I would like to know what in the community you would like the designated money to go to. Some could be RBH, could be C4K. I haven't lived here a long time, so I'm not sure where other funds can go to.
The YMCA.
YMCA, so that's where I need your help. So I'm gonna give you a couple minutes to think about everything and write them all down. Okay, so everybody put down where we want to put money and, the different services. So we're gonna talk about, service right now. So one of the things is pitch-in days I'm gonna move from the bottom to the top. Pitch-in days this Saturday, and, as part of our awareness is that I would like for family and friends, we can meet at Alcona Glen, and we can kind of clean up Innisfil Beach Road in our yellow shirts. So people know that we actually do exist. Because outside of here, out there, some people don't know who we are or what we do. I went to Starbucks. After this meeting, I go to Starbucks all the time. And they go, so how's your day? I go, oh, I just came from a Rotary meeting. What's that? Right? So
The guy that works there knows what Rotary is, because I know him and talk to him.
oh, well, it might be another person that was at the window. Oh, what's that? And they said, oh, it's community service. Oh, really? So we need to kind of be out there again.
Yeah, we used to have, what we call Rotary Day, and we used to do a flag raising at the town hall.
Oh.
It's on the anniversary, it was June 13th usually, because it was our anniversary of Rotary, in Innisfil.
Yeah,
Well, we have
we
a
launched
flag.
a flag. It's a
I know,
big
but
flag.
what's the name that's behind it?
Yep.
Yes.
Procession?
Well, the foundation, I don't know, the charter.
So we used to do a flag raising?
Yeah,
On June 13th?
yep,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you have to arrange it with them.
you have to talk to the mayor.
And we have a flag?
And we
They have a flag at the town.
You and I take it offline,
Yeah.
and I'll talk to Lynn
We
and,
have a proclamation sheet that they have, the flames that, and it's been put through all.
Okay, well, we gotta start that
We
again.
had, that's another plaque we had that we gave us, and, or it was a citation thing.
Citation, yeah.
And leading up to that pitch-in days, we used to do our own neighborhoods too, and just wear our own shirt and go around. So you didn't have to do it on the day out. You
Yes.
just- Yeah.
So this year, I think, is there anybody that's going to be joining Paul and I?
Unfortunately, on our way over.
Yeah.
For this weekend?
Yeah.
I do, yeah. I'm leaving to Friday night. I know. I really would. I'm away. It's Mother's Day weekend, so.
Yeah.
To be able to run, so let's just stay.
Can we do it Friday?
Yes, here, I just have to make sure all is good, we've got.
I just need a couple people in yellow shirts to be.
Can
out
we do
there.
it Friday morning and then you can post it Saturday? Yeah, I can do Friday morning.
If we do it Friday morning?
Yeah. Who has the shirts?
You can,
Everybody has. Everybody has.
But if you wanted a nice picture of a lot of people in yellow shirts.
I have a few extras.
They won't be going.
Like I might be available Saturday, so I might do it. I've worn Wednesday.
Put it this way, if we don't do it Friday morning, we'll do it Saturday morning, but I will connect. It's booked right now for Saturday, so that we're part of it, and then the barbecue, we'll just keep it Saturday, and then we'll do it in our shirts, and then go to the barbecue afterwards. Whoever shows up, I'll bring all the stuff. I think gloves are included, but if not, maybe.
They are, yeah,
Then everything, I'm grabbing some kits from today, so that's. Yeah, the barbecue. Jeff's cooking.
And what time, Deb?
10 o'clock at Alcona Glen. I just thought, because they have a nice big parking lot, we'll just park there and then kind of do it in and around for as long as we want. I just would like for awareness, and we can take some pictures, put them online, send them to people. We just need to be out in the public again.
I will make sure there's some teenagers there.
Okay. And then, the other thing too is our interactive meetings. We covered that, so we're gonna be doing this once a month. Our agenda, so Tim and I talked about how our agenda, our speakers are great, we have great speakers, they just talk past their 20 minutes. And then what happens is we don't get any business done. So we're gonna kind of rearrange our agenda now. So, we're gonna do, our O Canada, our land acknowledgement, then Sergeant at Arms, and then we're gonna do any announcements, and what we'd like for everybody to get back into doing is committee meetings, so that if there's something that needs to be brought to our attention, it's brought up at that time, and then we go into speaker questions, and we're gone. So that business gets done first, speaker last, and then we're out the door.
We used to do it that way.
Oh, good news will be in at the beginning also, so announcements, good news, all of that will be at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then, we'll have our speaker, and then, we're basically out the door. We do need to start to do some pre-meeting socializing if possible. That's the one thing that was so great when I went to the other meetings. I know we're at 7:30 in the morning, but the Kempton Club, they meet at 7 a.m. Their meeting starts at 7:15, so they do like 15 minutes of socializing. They do have coffee, they do have breakfast, but that's okay. So I'm gonna hope that maybe even just over the summer, because I know once the winter comes, I don't want to get up early, because I am not a morning person. But, you know, if we can come 10 minutes early before the meeting starts and socialize, that would be great. I'll even bring coffee all the time, if we can do that.
To be respectful of our speakers' time, will we tell them to come, like, will we say our meetings are at 7:30, you can come at 8?
They can, or they could come at 7:30
Yes, but
and stay and then speak at 8 o'clock. Yes, so that's,
And that'll give them a chance to see what our club does too.
yes, and also.
And you can, if you get good news, then you can actually include them in it.
Yes, agreed.
Which
Yeah,
is very
yeah,
important, so I think.
I understand that a lot of people, they wanna come in as they're speaking because they're trying to sell something. But we're not buying anything.
Right.
As a club, we're buying the message perhaps, and we're helping them spread it, but we're not giving them any money other than the donation we give. So if we have speakers coming in, they should be people who are already thinking about how they're giving back to the community and how we are well. So it's like an extra social networking thing for them. So if they're in a rush, sorry, no, just come and hang out, it's an hour. Big deal, really.
So, does anybody have any problems with the way that we're gonna flip around the agenda? We just need to-
No, I like it, it's going back the old way.
Yeah.
I like that.
I noticed when I went to all the other clubs also, that they started doing that, like they did their socializing, they did all their information. The one thing that we don't do here, which is fine, is they do fines at the other club. They also, one of the clubs, which I think is really cool, is if you go on a vacation, you have to bring back a gift for the president.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But the president keeps that gift and they use it for auction at any of their events. So you're basically giving a gift to the president is bringing it back into, and that's your fine. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's not what we're gonna do here at all. We're not gonna bring in fines, we're not gonna do anything like that. But just, if you go to the other clubs, you can just see how they do things a little bit differently there. So Katie is now gonna bring back the fun. So every month, or every day that we meet on a Wednesday, there will be a new fun, interactive kind of thing that we do. It'll be fun. Katie will be doing this till July. It'll be part of membership.
Where's Katie today?
I don't mind still. I know, I'm only doing this kind of thing till changeover in July. And they're just goofy little things, but I hope that they make you smile. So, earlier we were talking about McHappy Day, and I think what else is gonna make people smile more than McHappy Day, supporting so many charities across the country. And so, Jamie, actually, the conversation about where McDonald's are has inspired this question. So, I've got a small little surprise for whoever's been in Innisfil the longest. Cause you've been here a long time, but apparently you don't get out much. In that McDonald's, gone for a while. So who's been here 10 years?
Like physically or family?
Wait a second,
Oh, wait.
I haven't moved in 38 years, but I've had 4 addresses.
I don't.
Yeah, that is, so we win.
Wait, what?
I used to live in Bradford, West Willowbury, then I got amalgamated to the town of Innisfil, but then I got amalgamated to Guilford, now back into Innisfil. So
Okay, you're fine, you're fine.
Has everybody beat?
Okay, well, maybe,
How long have you been in Innisfil?
since 1972.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, we bought a house here because we couldn't afford to buy anywhere else.
I am. Okay, so I'm gonna add on to the fun of that, and we have a few minutes, so we're gonna go around, and you are gonna tell us how long that you've been here, starting with India.
I've been here for 5 years now. Moved from JD Major Mackenzie.
Ooh.
I came from Toronto, been here for 5 years now, and 2 kilometers away from my grandkids.
That's good. We moved here in 1996. Long time.
We came here from Guelph and came in 89.
Okay.
I came from the farm, Vanessa, in 72.
Mississauga, 11.
Brampton, 21.
All my life.
Wait, you've been here 21 years or in 2021 you moved?
No, 21 years,
Okay.
close to my parents.
I've been here all my life, never moved. Lived within a 5 kilometer radius there where when I bought a house, got married, moved from there to the house and then down, that's it. I was on the farm when I was a kid. In Bradford, West Willowbury. Yep.
I've been here since 1981, moved up from Jadenton. I moved up here, from Ajax and, in 1992.
I live in North Innisfil. The closest I've been to living in Innisfil was 3 years ago. I lived across from the South Go station, which is still very.
So my parents bought a cottage just down the road in 1974, I think, 75. So I've been coming to Innisfil from Brampton since then, but Paul and I moved to a family heritage house and built it just around the corner from my parents during COVID in 2021.
Kevin and I moved here in 2019, but his parent, we came from Burlington. Well, our first house was in Fergus. But his parents have been here for 12 years, so I've been visiting Innisfil for 12 or so years.
I've personally been here 13 years. My grandparents though moved to Sandy Cove Acres in 1988, and I was here a lot during that particular time. But I've moved over 60 times in my life. So, but having good roots for a long time. Before here, I was in Bradford for 5, and then everywhere else.
So we've got a lot of years here at Innisfil.
I like going around and
Yeah.
listening to everybody.
That's how we get to know each other. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, it is. Like instead of a good news round,
Something
pop
different.
a question and,
Put that on your list.
okay.
So I was talking about our collaboration with the other clubs. So this year, the Berry Club is going to be inviting us to assist with Campin' Fest. So I am going to figure out what they require and bring it back to you. We will be working with them, and it's not like our club's just gonna go and do one day. So any slots they need filling in, they will ask us to do that. They have also asked us if we need any help, and if we need help with Onion Fest, they would be more than happy, any of the 3 clubs would be more than happy to come over and help with that. There won't be any kind of like money transactions, it's just helping each other out. We just wear our Innisfil shirts, our yellow work shirts, and we go there and do our tape. So that's one of those. The other collaboration is, we wanna try and figure out what we can do that all 5 clubs benefit from it in a monetary way. So we're gonna meet in July and try and hash that out to see what we can do with all 5 clubs together, even if it's a big thing. That leads us into our youth exchange. So our club is too small to do a youth exchange. Does everybody know what a youth exchange is? No. Janet? Or Tim? One of you know what a youth exchange is?
Yes.
Go for it. Well, Tim's doing Next Generation, so you can do.
So with Youth Exchange, we have the opportunity to have a youth from our own community go somewhere else in the world, and they send their kid to live with us. So you'd have a host family physically here, sometimes more than one host family. It depends on circumstances. That would basically put this youth up. And they get a chance to really understand our culture living here. Maybe they're from Germany, maybe they're from, Ukraine, Australia, anywhere. So it's a great way to reach out, and it's a great way to send our youth out and learn more about the world.
They go to school.
You go to school, you participate in every social thing. If it's a church-going family, typically you go to service there. But it really depends on your ethnic background and what you really want to do and what you believe in. So
Usually it has about three families that sponsor and look after them. It's hard for one family to do it for 10 months.
If anyone has Audible and likes Matthew McConaughey, listen to Red Light, Green Light. He
My wife
has
just
an explanation for Rotary. He did the exchange and yeah.
unfortunately, it went pear-shaped on him though.
It worked out very well for him, actually.
Yeah, but something happened to him during that time.
Yes, it did.
It was very bad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's why I say it's a good news.
Yeah.
It's the first time I've ever heard a grown adult talk about having been part of the program.
yeah.
Is it on Netflix?
No, he does, it's on
a book.
Audible, it's a book, Red Light, Green Light, that he wrote.
Yeah. You can also read the book. You don't have
who
to.
the man was, but when he talked about Rotary, well, he's got this accent that he doesn't have on TV. I have to go looking him up to see who the hell he is. And he says that tagline, whatever those 3 words is that he says.
Red light, green light.
I don't.
I almost did the program myself when I was a kid. I didn't even know what it was. It was an exchange to Australia. Unfortunately, it fell apart last minute, but I would have done it.
So because our club, again, is too small, the Kempenfelt Rotary Club and the Berry Club are either bringing in 2 or 4 students. And if they bring in 4 students, they were wondering if our club would like to host for a couple of weeks or a month. The only thing is that part of it would be that you would have to drive the student to school because it would be out of the area, but then that student would learn about Innisfil and all the area that's down Innisfil and our Rotary Club and everything about you and our club. They will come and visit our club if we decide not to participate in it, but again, it's a huge undertaking for our club to do or an individual to do, to make sure you have the space and you have the ability to drive that child into school every day that they need to go to, and any of the other organized trips and things that they have for the exchange students. Yeah.
I know an exchange student right now, but to get her to go from one, we wanted to take her out to see things, but we couldn't because there's so much red tape. And that's the biggest problem you have. Like, you gotta go through a lot of channels before you can take that child anywhere to see any of our national, whatever, like the 7 wonders of the world. Like, we couldn't take her to Niagara Falls because there's so much red tape. So
the Berry Club, well, the clubs that would be hosting them would go through all of that. They were just wondering if, because we can't do it, and if we wanted to participate, then we could ask them if, we could get in there somehow.
Chris?
I'd be interested, I support that strongly. I live in 2 rooms, so it's not possible
but it is possible for me to drive. So maybe we can have kind of a system like that where 2 or 3 families are supporting the student in the.
Well, yeah, so as long as I know that I have club support, I can always go back to them and say, yes, the club supports the idea, you guys can work it out, tell us what we need to do. So this, if it doesn't work out this year, maybe during Susie's year, it'll work out, or after that.
Yeah, I did establish in my budget that we would start endeavoring to have some fundraisers to raise bursaries during your term. And so that by the time of Susie's term, hopefully we would actually have the opportunity to have some money in the kitty that would specifically be earmarked for youth exchange. So.
The other thing is that with youth exchange, the way I understood it learning at Pets is that if the Berry Club is sort of the host clubs, there's also district stuff that happens for all the youth exchange clubs at the district. So in terms of the red tape that you're saying, like they're gonna probably organize a trip to Niagara for the district, and it's a matter of getting that kid to the bus that's gonna be going on behalf of the district trip. So it's not as much stuff that you have to do individually, because the district does a lot of work, the host club will do a lot of work. They're probably just looking for some boarding for a period of time, and of course, daily transportation.
And so the last thing is on September 11th, it's our District Day of Service. I would like for us to participate in that. It's called Creating Hope this year. So District Day of Service, I was thinking as you're driving around the neighborhood and your own neighborhood, keep an eye out for possibly a senior whose garden is, or deck or something is falling apart. I would like for us to go in and physically do something, clean up a garden, fix up a deck. So as you're driving around, if you see a house that looks a little dilapidated, needs some assistance, I can always go in and approach the person, say, look, we'd like to help you on this day and do something. So single moms, a senior, somebody who's got accessibility situation. So just keep an eye out in your neighborhoods, and we'll go in as a team and we'll do some cleaning up on September 11th. Yep.
I was gonna say a Rotary Club, I know the Rotary Club in Barry did that one year.
We do Day of Giving every year, and it used to be going into people's homes and doing whatever
My
they need.
girlfriend had it done.
Yeah, and then COVID made that a little bit difficult, so we transitioned it a bit to going to like the Women and Children's Shelter to do a yard cleanup there and other places like that. But I think we're gonna get back to going into people's homes.
Yeah, even if we go into a home, and if you know someone that needs,
And how did you guys find it?
They reached out to us, we put a call out, and then there was a hotline they could call. And like we went,
So we should do something like that.
we did ovens,
But I'm just asking for now, if you're like exterior, I'd like to say exterior if possible, instead of going into someone's home.
Yeah.
So if you're driving around.
I just say
and
you
see
hate to
something-
insult the person by going up to them and saying that some might take it as
Your
an
house
insult,
is
so
bad.
that's why I thought it was them.
Well, no curb appeal, so let's fix it.
Yes, yeah.
Jean, you wanna?
Well, I always look at the guy who does the yard cleanup. He's on TikTok. He owns a he owns a landscaping, and he actually goes up to someone and says, "Hey, I want to take a video of the before and after, and I'd like to clean up." So if we do it in that way instead of being an insult, they just say.
He has a reason though, he's a business worker.
Yeah, but we're not doing this problem. We can do the same thing, saying, "Hey, we've noticed that."
We're almost out of time, so Katie,
Yeah.
you have a comment?
Yeah, I was just gonna say the other thing we could do is talk to the town. I've just been seeing in Oklahoma chats a lot of defacement of parks and things, graffiti tags. So even if it's like a park cleanup, if it comes like September 11th, if there's something that's happened, we can go to the town and say, look, where do you need sort of that cleanup or type work? Because it's certainly upsetting to the whole community who uses those public spaces. So just another thought for that day.
I'll just add 2 cents. So this.
Can you just put your initials on the top so I know who, because if I have to go back to you.
Basically, this conversation is exactly the one we needed to have. It wasn't just our club that was affected by COVID, it was all of them. So the idea of the 5 clubs getting together and doing things is a nice return to form, because I was really excited when it was coming on as president, because the idea that I could have these ideas, these monthly meetings with the other presidents, didn't happen. We met once, and I kept asking, I said, when are you guys getting together? They weren't. They were never, like the Barry Combs themselves weren't even meeting. So, so us being a catalyst to getting everybody meeting together again and sharing ideas, I think is the most essential thing for us to grow. And getting back on track with the idea of our bylaws and knowing that we're following not just the Rotary International, but the Rotary 7010, and following the practices of all the other clubs, because that way you know that we're never breaking any rules, but we're also learning, taking the lessons that other clubs have found about how to get better and going from there. So, 50-50.
Tim, we had, the PR club used to get together
Yes.
every month as the quad club. And we would have a monthly meeting with all the clubs in the area to discuss what we were doing, what we were promoting, and then being able to make sure we could share that information with our own clubs and bring it back. So
That's
that would
brilliant.
be something-
See, right now PR is only one person.
At the Rotary board meeting last night, you were talking about it'd be great if we could have a shared calendar with all of the various Innisfil clubs.
You can,
And
actually, when on Club Runner, you can, when you actually add your items, you can make sure it's seen by district.
the only thing was nobody plans their events far enough in advance, like having Lobster Fest and Derby the same week. I'm like, who did this? So
What derby?
Kempenfeld Derby,
I don't even know about that one.
oh, it's on
June
June
13th.
13th and something else.
It's in our area.
Yes, it is.
50-50.
Last 3 numbers, 849.
That's,
Happy anniversary.
We might win enough to buy some clothes.
Flowers don't last. I buy her something.
Women are in charge of all the rotaries?
Yeah.
That means your wife should have bought you flowers.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Come on, Jeffrey.